Easy though. Um, who you be following? Like, who's your guy?
Spence.
Spence. I'm not surprised. I'm not
Hey, I
surprised at all.
still respect him to this day. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Got love for him, but that
bro,
that took a lot out of me watching that as a fan.
bro. What Bud did to him,
Yeah.
that's Spence, my boy. But I don't know how you come back from that. He need to stay away
I,
from Bud.
I agree.
He
I
need to
agree.
stay away
And
from Bud.
I think what makes it even more of a tougher subject to talk about because everything was done with grace. Like there
Right.
wasn't no negativity. They weren't going
Right.
back and forth at each other like they hated each other. It
Mhm.
was mutual respect, and it was just like
Yeah.
man to man. He lost and he lost tragically.
Yeah.
And
Disgusting. It was
yeah,
bad.
man.
And I lost money, so I'm still not happy with Spence off that. But I'll roll into the show. Welcome to another episode of Road Runners Unfiltered. Everybody's your host, Darian Stoller here. I'm joined today by a special guest, former UTSA starting star running back, Jalen Rhodes, in the
What's
building.
going on? Thanks for
Um,
having me.
yeah, man. It's been a long time coming. I've been trying, especially for the off season, I'm gonna try to have a lot of folks come through. And one of the reasons I wanted you to come on for show is obviously I want to talk about the running backs at UTSA right now, but I also want to talk a little bit about the Wilson era because you are outside of Aeneas. We all know how Aeneas' situation with Wilson wasn't great,
Right.
but for you as somebody who has thrived in that offense with him in there. I want to ask you a little bit about that, and then we'll also roll into your thoughts on NIL because the NIL bit is crazy right now with
Yes.
all the money and what I feel. I am hurt that we weren't NIL wasn't around whenever we was there because boy, it was some struggling times back then. But um,
Struggles.
100%. But yeah, for those of you who are watching, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button and hit that like button so this can be boosted amongst the community. This will not be a super long one today. I'm going to stop. I got a hard stop at 6 o'clock because me and the wife are going out for Valentine's Day, and I
Yes,
don't
sir.
want to get smacked upside the head. But yeah, I guess I'll just kind of. I guess I want to start with. So yesterday I put out a tweet on the Road Runners Unfiltered account. And I was more so talking about the current crop of running backs that we have right now. And there's three main ones that there's sort of some debate on like who should start, you know what I'm saying, and that sort of thing. And like to me, I personally like the running back by committee situation that we got. And I know Kavorian Barnes came in as a starting back. Um Robert Henry came in and did some good stuff, and then Rocco Griffin.
Right.
I just kind of want to get your take on like what do you see out of the three backs, and maybe who do you think should start?
Well, I believe that they're all three different caliber player. I forget the young man's name. Number four. It doesn't
That's
it
Barnes.
confuse Barnes, but
Yeah,
I would say him. He sets himself apart just based off his size. His athleticism, I believe, is the same as the other two, but there's something about him. He's got a good first step. I think he has an extra gear. I would like to see him practice more on his balance and vision. Those are areas I think that he personally needs to improve.
right.
He also does a pretty good job in pass pro, but also could improve in those areas. If you had to ask me, I would definitely have Mr. Barnes as my starter, and I'd have Rocco as his running mate. I do, however,
100%.
have a high appreciation for what is the other
Robert
young
Henry.
man? Robert
Henry.
Henry. Henry does well. He plays his role well. I think he's a hard runner as well. He has great vision. He's elusive, but Mr. Griffin runs with an attitude. He has some aggression about him, and when he gets the rock, you remember when he has it. So out of the three, I would go with Barnes and Griffin, and the third guy being the third guy, but I'd say they're Henry. They're all special running backs, and I think they can all contribute to and continue to help us get where we're going and where we've been. So,
right. So I got a theory about. So I'm not mad at the Kavorian Barnes being the starter. He's been the starter. But I got a theory about him, and I think that you mentioned his size, and I feel like when you look back at his freshman year, and like you just look at the tape, when he broke, there was no catching him.
no.
Like there was no catching him. He had breakaway speed. And the difference I seen this past season is bro got big. He got like he put on
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? He put on 10, 15 pounds easy.
Yeah, he got no
And
chance.
I feel like he lost a little bit of his wiggle, and I feel like he lost a little bit of his ability to break away. You gotta think about it, bro. His longest rush this past season was 14 yards. Like considering how he was a like kind of a breakout back the year before, I don't know. I feel like he may have put on too much weight. I'd like to see him. I think when he's at his best, he's the better of the three. But I don't know if he can be at his best at that size, if I'm being honest. And then like
Agreed.
I like what you said about Rocco, but here's my thing. I would actually start Henry, and here's my reason why. I would start Henry because number one, he does have that breakaway speed. And number two, I like him in space just a lot better than both the other guys. Like and I don't necessarily I mean you would know better than I do, but like I'm not necessarily saying that you should give him the turn around and give him the ball 20 times a game. I don't know if he's that kind of back. You could
Yes,
probably
sir.
do that you could probably do that with Barnes, but I don't know if you could do that with Henry. But I feel like if they're building like the offense around the backfield, I feel like he's going to play a major part in just them trying to get him into space because he can make somebody miss and that boy's gone. I just hope he don't do the same thing, get too big and lose his wiggle next year.
Very true. I think the frame of Rock Griffin and Henry, I don't necessarily think that they can grow too much. I mean, yeah, you can put muscle on them, maybe 5 to 10 pounds, but I don't think they can add weight the same way Barnes does, just based off of genetics. I mean, just
Right.
because they kind of have thin legs, but you never know, especially with Follow up there and how he does his workouts and how he trains. So I'm sure he can add weight to anybody. But I agree with your opinion, especially with Henry being elusive, because I mean, in space, if you get him in space with a one-on-one opportunity, he definitely can make a man miss. And if he does, it's you're not catching him. So
Right.
I can definitely see your take on that.
When you're looking at backs and you're looking at backs just for UTSA in general, like considering the conference we in, what are a couple of the key attributes that you're looking at that like, you know what, for a back to really get busy in the American conference, we need him to be this, right? Or we need him to have this attribute. Because I look at the SEC, you can't go run out 180-pound back in the SEC. He's gonna get killed,
Right.
right? So when you look at UTSA in our conference, what type of key attribute do you think a good back should have?
Number one, speed. Because if you get the opportunity, you don't want to get caught.
Right,
So I believe it doesn't matter the conference. Speed is number one. You definitely need vision, elusiveness, power, but that depends on the style of offense that You're running. If you're in a spread, not saying that you don't need it, but it's not as important as if you're even balance team or pro style team like we were back in the
right,
Wilson era. So you would need your bigger backs for that type of offense, but speed and elusiveness and vision are also still needed. But in the spread, I'd say speed would be number one because when you get the opportunity and those lanes are open, you want somebody that can hit it. And if you can't
right,
hit it, it's a wasted opportunity. So
right.
you want to have the guys. I remember a lot of coaches used to say you want to have a home run hitter as your running back. He needs to be one of, if not the best athlete on your team.
Right.
So that's how I view it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like next year coming into the season, we're gonna have a youthful quarterback, whether it's gonna be Marburger or it's gonna be McCown. It's probably gonna be McCown.
Agreed.
Um, I guess kind of talk about how those, at least in my opinion, I think our running backs are going to play a huge factor in how the offense can be successful because we have a,
Agreed.
what I'm saying, they got to take pressure off of that young quarterback, right?
Right.
What I guess what type of situation would our offense be in? Let's say um, if our quarterback is bad, I'm just going to put a hypothetical out there. Let's say we got a bad quarterback. How can UTSA utilize their three backs, and get them the ball in space and allow the offense to be successful on their backs?
One, ground and pound, got to establish a firm running game, but getting the backs involved in the passing game as well, getting them out in the slot, swing passes. I would definitely run a two back set just to scare a few people. Wouldn't necessarily utilize it every game, but to put it
Right.
out there to have people on their toes. So we would have to literally take advantage of the things that we have and use it to the best of our ability. So if that means putting Rocco on the field with Barnes, putting Barnes and Henry on the field, Rocco and Henry on the field. I mean, we need to do what's necessary in order to win. And I
Right.
think those three guys can definitely handle that type of situation if the pressure happens to be on them throughout the upcoming season.
Right. Okay. I want to transition to the next topic that I want to talk to you about. And for those of you who are watching and leaving some of the comments, be sure to join the channel as a member. The members' comments will be priority as we read these off. But I'll go through a couple of these comments before we switch gears to the Wilson era because I definitely got a couple questions about that. Let's see. Mike Munez says, I wonder if they plan to use the running backs in the passing game more next season. Probably. They're probably going to open up some screens and stuff like that just because take some pressure off the quarterback. Randy says Kavorian grew into a third down goal line back. He's strong. He has to hold the ball. He has to hold on to the ball, though. That's true. Kavorian Barnes fumbled the ball quite a bit last year, if I'm honest.
And that probably played a role in Henry and Rocco getting a good amount of the carries that they got.
Right.
Not saying that they weren't deserving of it, whether he hit onto the
Right.
ball or not.
Right. Let's see. Not too many questions, just a whole bunch of comments. Okay, I'll get to some of those toward the end, but I want to switch gears to um Coach Wilson and the Coach Wilson era. Obviously, we have Coach Traylor now, so a lot of it's not relevant, but there had been just a lot of speculation over the time during the Wilson era of all kinds of stuff. So I'll just ask it like this in the beginning. How was it planned for him? What was planned for him like?
It, in the simplest form to say, it was a job.
Okay.
It was a full-time job. It's I'll just say it was a full-time job. There was a high standard and a lot was expected of everyone, and even more was expected of certain people.
Elaborate. It's Roadrunners Unfiltered. You don't work with Wilson anymore. Elaborate. Elaborate.
So his leaders or his starters,
Okay.
um, he would pretty much make it our job to police the team. And like I know at the age of 18, 19, 20, 21, everyone believes they truly are a grown man. And
Right.
there's no need for any guidance or educating on their behalf or learning from anyone similar or close to their age, or even another grown man who has put time in on this earth and knows how life works.
Right.
So it was very interesting to have or place that level of trust with 4 to 5 young men over 100 plus
Right.
young men, and then not reinforce or be an authority figure to help things improve in the areas where they needed to improve.
Interesting. What was the biggest difference between And I know there was a lot of difference. You can just see it from I wasn't in the locker rooms, but just from talking to some of y'all, like during the time y'all was there, and a little bit afterwards. But what was the main difference between his like playing for him versus playing for Coker?
Oh, Coker truly wanted to have a family. He
Gotcha.
truly made. I truly believe that his thought of team was completely different than Wilson's. So, I mean, when I first got there, I remember everyone being welcoming, everyone working towards the same thing as far as putting the school on the map and making sure that everybody respected us and how we played based off of, our work ethic and what we do on a
Right.
weekly basis and how we
Right.
perform on Saturday. Um, Wilson's era was more so. It wasn't. It wasn't. There wasn't a team. There wasn't a family. There wasn't a unit. It was more so a bunch of individuals wearing the same colors.
Well, so he was just more about come in, put in the shift,
Yeah, I mean,
leaders lead the other guys, and there we go.
pretty much. I mean, we found out as a team months in or after the first season that his plan was to get a few wins here, then try and solidify a job at a higher place. We were a stepping stone, so that rubbed a lot of people, a lot of teammates the wrong way in a few of the beginning years. That kind of started a snowball effect.
Right. Yeah, I think one of the things that I would hear a lot, and I, I have talked to people close to the program that has been around whenever he has one of his I don't know how to call it. I don't know tantrums is the right word,
Yeah,
but I heard that like it didn't matter who it was, and I'm not talking about even a team. Like obviously, a coach is gonna berate the team with insults, and you know what I'm saying that's normal. But I heard a lot about people around the program just getting like verbally smoked by Coach Wilson. Was
yes,
that a common thing?
it was. I mean, saw it at practice. You would see it at meetings sometimes, see it at games. I won't go into detail about these situations because
Sure.
they weren't they weren't great things to see, especially when you're in a position of power. You're a leader of young men, and there's a lot of young men looking up to you to figure out how to lead themselves and how
Right.
to grow. And what you display is something that, I mean, whether you like it or not, people digest that. If you're around somebody for a good amount of time, people are going to digest whatever you're putting out there. And it was digested by the whole team. And not everybody appreciated it, but
That's
that's
interesting. Yeah, that's
that's why he
crazy.
decided to move.
Yeah. Last one on this situation. Have you been around well, not necessarily around this situation. What is your take on Coach Trailer in general? I feel like I've only met him like one time, one of the times I went up there for one of the alumni things. Seems like he's cool, and I feel like if anybody has finally like driven home the family feel of San Antonio, I feel like he has. What are your thoughts on Coach Trailer and what he's done with the program?
He's a people person. I've met him twice. Um, and then what was it? The first encounter we ever had, he reached out to me. He just got hired and he was watching all of the film, and he just told me I was a hell of a player.
Really?
And yeah, just for a guy to do that,
Yeah.
that I appreciate that. But no, after meeting him twice, just he's how he conversates with people, how he's very welcoming, he's open. Now, I wouldn't say he's an arrogant person. And then the biggest thing for me, because I watched them play before I ever addressed him or spoke with him. Man, those every game they played with fire. They may not have won every game, but every game they played with heart. They played for each other, and that's something that you saw from the Wilson area, maybe the first year. You know, you for sure saw it in the first year, but maybe it was off and on second year, and then as it
Right.
continued to trickle down, it kind of disappeared altogether. But no, Traylor knows how to communicate with his team. He knows how to express whatever it is he's feeling to his team to continue to have them play like that week in and week out. So I don't know what he does. I don't know how he does it, but I can tell based off meeting him that he's a people person. He
Right.
knows how to communicate. He knows how to get people to move in a positive direction, in a direction that not only benefits the team but benefits themselves.
Right.
So and I think the young guys really buy into that, and they can feel it.
Bro, I genuinely feel like we're lucky to have that dude. Like,
I
I, I
agree.
I feel like sometimes with football and just sports in general, people get caught up in like all the radio talk and all of that stuff, and a lot of it don't mean a lot of nothing. Like whenever you like how much of that stuff really mattered in the locker room? Not a ton of
Right.
it. You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna suit up and play for whatever coach we have, and it is what it is. But when you have one of them dudes like him, I feel like there it is it's obvious why he's put up two banners and got our first bowl win. Like I feel like
Right.
we lucky to have dude, no joke.
I agree.
Yeah,
Especially with his ties to East Texas and Texas in general. That I
right.
think that's doing a great service to us. So
Yeah, because that boy
just
out there, he recruiting, he recruiting too.
yeah,
Yeah, we
easy.
got yeah. For
You
real.
say he's going to get him.
Yeah, for real, for real. Um, before we get into Q&A, I want to get your thoughts on NIL because we was talking about this just a little bit before we started the live. And I've said this 1,000 times. I know the audience is probably hearing me say this, tired of hearing me say this, but bro, I so wish we had you almost made it. You almost made it. You was just a couple years off. Um, what are your overall thoughts on NIL though, and how it's impacting just college sports in general?
Well, my original thought on NIL, I did think it was a good idea for players to benefit off their likeness and to have the opportunities to benefit off themselves.
Right.
Now, how they've decided to go about it, I think they've done it in the complete wrong way. And amateurism no longer exists at the collegiate level. It's starting to leak down into high school, and it's only affecting the minds of the youth, and it's ruining sports. Kids
Really?
don't, yes, they
Okay.
don't work. They imagine the NIL deals, the money and the benefits that comes from these things, and they don't understand what it takes to get to those things. That's at the younger level. I feel like at college, there's a lot of individuals asking for things that they're undeserving of, not because they can't work their way to earn that, but
Right.
what have you done to get 100K, 200K?
So,
How have you helped this team win to be asking for that amount of
right.
money?
Right.
There's guys on the staff that's filling your water bottles up that don't make a dime.
Facts.
And not to say that you should compare the two, but
So
it's
you
showing.
hating though?
I look, I'm salty that I'm not a part of it. I truly am. I feel like you could ask multiple
Yeah.
former Division I athletes or athletes in
Cool.
general that they
Yeah.
would be salty about it as well. I
A
think it's
little bit.
awesome that they're getting that for the people that truly are benefiting their
Right.
families and things of that nature. But you know that there's been some individual out here, it's straight greed.
Right.
And I
Right.
think that for individuals to be able to make this amount of money at this young age, there needs to be some type of regulation on it because we all know that P5 is doing something that G5 is not doing.
Right.
It all depends on how much money you have. Yes,
Yeah.
this may be written down on paper, but that's not really what's going on.
Right. Right. Right.
And it's only a matter of time before this gets so out of hand, something happens. Because we haven't even talked about a teammate that's been upset or that is upset with another teammate that's bag is bigger than his, or a
Right.
teammate who's not getting what he believes that he should be getting, and that other teammate just signs a new deal.
Right.
Now, grown men understand not to pocket watch.
Right.
Do young men understand not to do that?
They don't. They
And
don't.
that's all I'm saying.
I mean,
When it
you
comes
actually,
to finances, man.
you're right. You're right. Honestly, you make some good points because I was asking. I had April and Sarah on here a couple weeks ago, and she was giving me the lowdown of like how NIL stuff works and how it works behind the scenes when they're trying to negotiate with players, and like players come in and just expect a number and they're like, we can't do that by like that type of situation. So a lot of that does happen. One of the things I was asking her when I was asking her about, and I'm kind of surprised that they don't have it. So they have people there that's kind of monitoring the contracts,
Right.
but they don't like. There's not really anything there in place to educate these dudes on how to spend their money. These dudes or gals on how to manage their money because here's what that people will realize once you get in the real world. You're gonna get to a point to where you in your prime years and you making as much money as you'll probably ever make. If you don't capitalize on that and make sure you put money back down the road when you get old and it's time to retire, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
you can, you're gonna have to rely on that money. So some of these guys right now who are getting all this money, they probably not gonna make it to the league because we know the numbers and how low the statistics are on guys who actually go to the league and then get a contract, then get their second contract, so on and so forth.
Right.
So I just hope a lot of these dudes don't fumble their bag. But I think NIL, my take on it, and people have heard me talk about this. NIL to me, I'm glad that the guys are able to capitalize financially on this, but I do think they got to put some guardrails behind it. They do, or guardrails within it because it seems like it's getting out of hand. But all right, I'm gonna run through since I am low on time. I'm gonna run through some questions. We're gonna do them sort of rapid fire
Okay.
Q&A. Let's see if we have any members questions, guys. If you are new here, be sure to smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, join as a member, and you'll get your stuff prioritized. Shout out to my man Harry here, who is a member. He's just showing love to the host today. Let's see. Okay, here's one. This is you know what? I know exactly who this is, but I'm not going to expose who they are right now. But the cool guy says, besides himself, who's Jalen's favorite running back / player to come out of UTSA?
Well, that's too quick. You want my favorite running back or my favorite player?
Both. Go both.
All right. Favorite running back, my running mate, Jarvion. Favorite player, Frank.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Frank will be on here tomorrow, actually. So
Okay. Now I love Frank. Love playing with him, practicing with him. Love watching him.
yeah.
Wish I would have gotten a game with him.
Yeah. Eric says Jalen Rhodes, big fan of your time here. Not sure if you answered, but want to put you on the spot. Which back of the three going into 2024 do you like best?
Griffin.
Oh, okay. Rocco Griffin. Let's see. Any other? There's one question that's coming in from Twitter. That says, I'll ask it. I guess it's for both of us. I'm not sure if they're not sure if they're going to be able to make it today, but they asked, have we seen Zachary Franklin's social medias and what are our thoughts? I haven't seen his social media, but I guess just real quick, what are your thoughts on his situation? Like, he's one of the guys who left. I'm assuming he went. They offered him a lot of money to go up to Ole Miss.
Right.
Didn't work out. Yeah.
That's the nature of the NIL. And that's another thing that I'm talking about when it comes to P5, because yeah, he was the best receiver in our conference. He was the best receiver on our team.
Right.
Is he the same there? And also, what did they throw him that we couldn't throw him? And necessarily, was it a better move for him to make? but that decision was probably made or had a lot to do with the financial gain, not necessarily the next best step for his career. And I don't think a lot of players think a lot of these things through. They see the zeros, because I don't know what I would do if somebody threw a couple of $100,000.
I know what I do. I know what I would have done at that time. I'm on a plane. It's a wrap. I'm gone. You ain't got. There's no question on what I would have done. Hey, I'm on a plane. Put me on a bird, baby. You know what's going on. Listen, that I feel like I hate that some of these guys are fumbling their NFL bag trying to chase this money, because he's one of them. I feel like he would have had a good chance at the league. He dominated. I mean, we see receivers come out of Conference USA all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, he dominated. He broke every record at our school. He broke records. I think he even approached some conference records. Like, bro would have had a shot at the league right now, and I don't know what's going on in this particular situation with him right now. But I got to wrap because I have to go be a good Valentine's partner. But Jalen, appreciate you for jumping on, bro. I'm gonna have you on. I'm making you commit to it now. I'm gonna have you on as we get closer to the season. So
I got you.
Go ahead and be ready. That text is coming. Appreciate all y'all for watching. I am signing off. Peace. All right, bro.
All right, brother.